right, we're going to watch screens tonight. Screens are a little more, what's the word? You have to use your judgment, right? Did they give enough time and distance?
Subjective.
Yeah, most screens are based on time and distance than, was his appendage out? And that happens too, but but there's a little more opinion in it. Not as easy to map out, but we'll do that. By the way, we were talking about the apparel, but I'm not a hoodie guy. I'm really not. But man, this thing is super warm and comfortable. I like I told you last month, I'm in a cold basement when I work, and this is perfect. So, all right, that's enough on that. I was watching a few videos before we started, but I didn't really sort much out. So we're just going to kind of go through this together. All right, let's start with did we see it? It's a throw-in pass. It's happening right in here. I'll play it fast.
Back to it.
All right, here comes slow.
Guy in front's a moving screen.
23.
Yeah.
Right? Now what did 23 do? Pretty obvious, right?
It's the arms,
outside the frame.
His leg is way out. His arm is way out. You can see through his arm, so you know it's out too far.
Yeah.
And I wanted to read this before we started, but I'll read it in just a second. He kept the player from going to where he wanted to go, right?
Yeah, I was completely moving, but he's never stationary.
So the biggest thing when it comes to screens, all right, I don't know if you guys show up with your rule book or not. Oh, that's great. My rule book is always here. And Article 1 under screens basically explains the whole thing. Yes, that gives you specifics with the other articles. There's 8 articles total. Article 1 says a screen is a legal action by a player who, while touching the playing court without causing contact, delays or prevents an opponent from reaching a desired position. So what is a screen? Keeping someone from getting to a desired position without contact, right? So then it tells you, well, what can you do? What can't you do? And I get that that's important. I'm not saying it's not important, but a screen is basically preventing your opponent from getting where they want to go. All right, so that one, as I said, we'll share it again. That one clearly kept him from where he wanted to go, correct? We all agree with that. All right. Let's find another one. Here's another outside the frame. We're going to do some easy ones first. All right, did we all see that?
Yeah. Gotta be straight up and down.
Right in the paint again.
Yeah.
Was he legal or illegal?
Illegal.
What was illegal about it?
His feet are not approximately shoulder width apart.
Now, would you say his arms are okay, right?
They're not bad. Yeah.
You can't really bring them in much closer. They're next to his body. I think that's okay. But that leg is clearly outside the frame of his body. And where's the contact?
The leg.
Right
It's
there.
all the leg. What if the contact was up here? Would you call that an illegal screen just because his leg is out?
No.
No.
No, because the part of the body that delayed him from getting to his desired position wasn't illegal. But this one was the leg. And even if you think it's kind of the leg, kind of you can always err on if he hits the appendage, that's illegal. That's illegal. So that was an easy one too, right?
Yep.
I think so. I don't like this one. All right, this one's a little more, it happens over here. No whistle was blown. I know you can't hear the sound very well, but no whistle was blown. do you have a, I'm going to play it slow. Do you have an illegal screen or is it legal as the officials?
He got down before he got there. Time and distance is not a factor. I mean,
So you think he's in the spot?
No, it's illegal all day because he's still moving even after the contact
Right.
occurs. He's still moving backwards, not allowing that the defender to get around.
All right, so that was Mike. That's absolutely correct. A screen is completely different from, say, a block charge for a legal guarding position. Completely different. Well, not completely different, but the difference is when you set a screen, you must give time and distance. It is very relevant to whether you are legal or not. In a guarding position with a player with the ball who's moving, no time or distance is needed, right? If you're there before he hits you, you're there. That's your spot. But that's not how a screen works. A screen, you always have to allow time and distance. My guess is it's because you're always screening a moving player without the ball, or typically.
So Josh, visually, what are you suggesting in terms of, is it a step? Is it how much time and distance are we talking about when he's trying to get to, they're both trying to get to a spot?
That's a great question.
Visually, do you want to see that step prior to the contact?
Right, and I pause because it's not an easy, let me just tell you what it is. You don't, here's the rule book. You do not have to give more than 2 strides. Okay, but it's not saying you have to give 2 strides. What the rule book says, and I'm not going to read it for you, but the rule book says the speed of the player you are screening determines how much time or distance you must allow them because to avoid the contact. Because as the person being screened, they must avoid contact. It's on them to avoid contact as long as I'm legal, right? So if they're moving super fast, you've got to give them 2 strides. You got to give them if they're going, but if they're not going so fast, maybe they only need 1 stride. If they're hardly moving at all, maybe it's a quarter of a step.
Yeah.
All right, so that's why I can't say, well, look for this and look for that. It's really based on our opinion. So we need to, and that's why we're going to watch more of these, but we need to watch and see how fast was the person traveling. And do you think they had enough time to avoid the contact? Because again, it's on them to avoid the contact. Does that help?
Yeah.
At least
It definitely helps, given the speed factor. And I also like the fact that, if that that offensive player is not going to hold that position, that would change, in flight as he's moving towards that. They're both moving towards that central point. I like that. Thank you.
Hey, Josh,
yeah.
this is Vito. I think it's getting harder and harder with this because as basketball's changing and going more towards 3-point shooting, you have more on ball than off ball screens now. There's a lot of you're screening the ball. Before, everyone screened away from the ball. Now a lot of people are screening the ball and trying to get that guy open so he can get a pass. And I think what's happening is you're seeing guys screen, then they roll. So how long were they stable? How long did I think you really have to look at, did he stop the player or did he the player got to him and then he rolled for a screen and roll? So I think it's getting harder and harder. I mean, I had a game last night and, the coach was complaining, that's a moving screen, it's a moving screen, but the guy would come, set a screen, and then he would roll. Now, when you look at the pros, they do it, but they move and screen all the time, But I think in high school, you start to see more and more of that. And it's getting harder and harder to call of like giving them enough time.
Well, you can pick and roll. We were all taught that coming up, right? Pick and roll.
Yeah, but it went away from it, but now it's come back. And I think people are getting, struggling that it's like, hey, now that's a moving screen. Well, no, he kind of set it. The guy got to him and then he's rolling, so I think it's getting harder and harder to call it because I had Mather last night, matter of fact, against this, and they kept, their screens, they kept setting their screen for their guy and then they would roll. And it was getting harder and harder to call. So we had some, maybe I could have called it, maybe I shouldn't have. So.
I think the screening and rolling, and even when they don't necessarily roll, is what kind of mucks it up for us, right? It muddies the waters because they're allowed to move. A screener is allowed to move.
Right.
They're not allowed to move into the screener. They're not allowed to move, to keep the, but if the screener is moving this way and the other person, if they're moving this way and the other person, they're moving in the same direction, that's legal. That's perfectly okay.
Right.
Right? But if one's going this way and one's going the other way and then they collide or sideways,
Right.
I can't get the direction on here, but
Basketball's a moving, there's 10 people moving in all different directions.
okay, this is a time and distance. Did he give time and distance? My question on this is, how fast was the player moving? Not hardly at all. But did he give him any time or distance? I don't know.
No, no time.
And he leans into him, Josh.
I think that's a good call.
And he leans into him. Let's see.
If you look, he almost initiates the contact versus the guy.
Yeah, well,
Right.
maybe he thinks he's going to get hit, so he's ready for it. But I don't disagree that it's not illegal. My point is, the player he was screening wasn't moving hardly at all, right?
Right.
Or was he? You don't have to agree with me. All right, how about this one?
Yeah.
All right, now,
He's moving.
here's my comment on this. The screen is clearly illegal, right? He's not even to his spot when the contact is made, right? He's still moving to the spot, so no time or distance. The player's moving relatively fast, so he doesn't give him any time. He completely delays him from getting to the desired spot he wants to go to, right? And I'm not suggesting we don't call this, but what I am suggesting is what happened with the ball. Where is the ball and where is it going? Did he even attempt to pass it to that player who was coming up the lane? Maybe it was part of their play, and it did. It disrupted it, but it looks like the kid just wanted to drive the lane. Maybe we can wait a half a second on that illegal screen with no whistle and allow the play to happen, which is developing over here away from the screen. Do you guys agree with that or disagree?
Agree.
No material effect on that play.
I agree. Yeah, no effect on the play.
Yeah, but I think the toughest thing is that because it's borderline kind of bridging over into two areas of focus, that you may be on the ball, but your partner calls it because he sees it as illegal. So it's hard to let something develop and you're not paying attention to a different area.
The guy making that call would have been a C. He would have had a straight shot
Yeah.
to the ball handler. So
Right, but he wouldn't have
he
been.
should have been
the one
aware of
watching.
what the ball situation was.
But the trail has his hand up. He's the one calling the call on the offensive player.
Let's
No,
talk.
he was.
No,
Let's
no,
talk
the C called that.
C call.
No, what I'm saying is that if the C is paying attention, if the C sees the illegal screen coming up the middle and the trail is watching the ball, you could have two different partners kind of looking at different things, not really being concerned with letting the play develop because it's not their responsibility to kind of see it that way,
All right, so the C is looking through the lane.
Yeah.
And they're watching this. They shouldn't be watching the ball. They shouldn't be watching the ball. I get it. But when you're looking through the lane, it's easy to see the ball's over there, right? We should all be ball aware at all times. So the C, again, I'm not faulting the official for calling. This was definitely a foul. But I think this is a foul we could have passed on if we had just waited a half a second to a second.
Yeah.
Happened with the ball. I think the team would have been much happier with this kid driving the lane and maybe making a shot. I could be wrong, and it goes against the rule book, but now can I just bring this up real quick? We do not want to stand here as the center. Not even on a throw-in. Why are we standing here? He
He should be up. Yeah.
just straight lined
Take
himself
a step
with
up.
all of these players.
Yeah.
Right? He can't, he's trying to look through them, I guess, but come up to your spot here. You think they're all going to play here, or you think they're going to converge up this way,
Oh,
right? Trail's a little far away, but I'm okay with that position. He could come down maybe a little bit. But the center's got
Josh,
to come up. What's that?
isn't the C can look for the holds down there on the baseline because the lead is inbounding the ball? And if you come up too far, you miss the holds.
You're straight.
What holds? Like holds here?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but if the C is standing here, do you think he's not going to see the holds?
Yeah, he'll see it better.
I think the trail will see
Yeah.
the hold. The trail comes down. The trail can see perfect.
Okay, so split the court. All right,
He
got
can
it.
be pretty good in this situation as well. But yeah, I don't disagree with that. But when he comes down here, what is he doing? He's giving himself the exact same angle that the lead already has, right?
Yeah, but he's also able to see a little bit of that kind of in-between action that could be going on, some hand action that could be going on with 24 and the other player. I mean, he's giving himself a little bit of better sight line to be able to pick some of that up.
Yeah.
If there's anything going on at all.
I think you might be right, Michael. I think he's looking at this and he wants to look through the players. So I guess that might be okay. But I don't know. If a kid's going to hold nice and close that way, coming down here, you're probably still not going to get it. I don't know. Maybe you will. And he did. And when, to his credit, when as the play progressed, he did come back to his spot. All right. Enough on that.
Hey, Josh, real quick on
Yeah.
that elevator screen. If you pass on it now and it happens again, you're gonna get an earful from the coach.
I
And now
agree.
it's happened twice. So
I
you
agree.
might want to clean that up now so it doesn't
Well,
happen again.
That's true. And I think to that point, this is in the third period. All right. Now, again, I'm just talking here. I'm not saying that we should or we shouldn't. I'm talking this out to see what we think to help the game overall, right? We all agree that was an illegal screen. We all agree that foul was the correct call. Could he have passed on it is what I'm talking about. In the third period with 2 minutes to go, we already know what kind of game we have. We should know what kind of game we have, right? And maybe there's been a lot of screens up to this point, and so that was just another routine one. If it was in the first quarter, I agree. If that's the first screen you see, get it. Because you've just told everybody, we're calling illegal screens tonight. It had nothing to do with the play, but I'm not going to allow that. But by the third quarter, would you agree? By the third quarter, we should already kind of have set that tone.
Yeah, but they're up by 32, so you don't want
Well,
to give it
right. And there's a
away.
lot of context that we have to take into consideration.
It's about 32.
Yeah.
Who did he call it on? He called it on the white team. So, yeah, they probably needed a foul.
That's probably what I'm thinking.
So, yeah, I get all that. But if you take all of that out of it, you're right. I mean, timing could be part of it, setting the tone. I'm trying to evaluate this play on this play alone. So, all right, how about this one?
Didn't see it.
Didn't see it.
Happens right here, all right? And I play it again fast before I play it slow.
Worked.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a push off?
Yeah, the foul is on red.
It's on red. Okay, it's on red. Yes.
What does red do?
He
Red
runs through the
one
screen, so he
pushes
can't go
off.
through.
Was that screen legally set?
I think so. I think it's pretty screen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
He's there.
He's got to avoid it.
Did red make any attempt to avoid the
No.
screen?
No.
In fact, what does he do?
He pushes through.
Extend his arms.
He says, get out of my way. I'm going this way. You can't do that. And so we have to be more cognizant, which the official got right in this game, but of if the screen is legal, we now have to hold the screened individual accountable as to what kind of contact happens. Right? Now that's kind of an easy one.
Hey, Josh, can you run that from the very beginning real
Yeah.
quick? Okay, thanks. I was just wondering what happened to 21 in the first place, why he did that. I thought maybe he got something happened earlier and then he was kind of pissy about it.
Well, something may have happened to him a play ago or 2 plays ago. That's true, but that doesn't give him the right to do that.
No, I'm not justifying anything that he did. I was just curious because I was looking at the top. I was looking in that corner over there, and thought maybe he got hit and he got all pissy.
What do we like the positioning of the officials here?
Sure.
Can I just say this?
Trail's a bit.
Right where he should be. It's the same. It is the same kind of play that we set up, and he's not coming down here. Trail looks a little high to me. Again, I'm okay with him there because the play's going to be coming this way, but he could come down a little closer, I think. Should the lead have had this call? Should it have been the lead? What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's your territory there. So.
It's coming. Yeah, it's more the Leeds area.
Yeah.
It's in Leeds area.
It's in Leeds area.
Who's watching the ball right now?
Well, it should be Trail.
Leeds,
It's kind of
Trail.
right? Leeds got from the free throw line over to the arc.
Yeah, arc. Yeah.
So Leeds watching the ball. What does he have to see to get to that ball? He's looking right through what just happened.
Yeah.
Right? It's the Leeds area. The lead has got, he doesn't have to look over here to see it. That's definitely the Leeds call. And if the lead misses that, the center's got a good look or should have a good look. And the Trail, I think, could even get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yes.
All right. Let's start with this one. Happened here. All right.
Where did it happen?
Down here in the corner, next to the center over here. Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Illegal screen right here.
Green with a hold.
Oh, he's moving.
He's moving too.
Right. He was never stationary, which you must be stationary to establish a legal screening position, right? Unless they're both moving in the same direction, which they weren't. He was moving this way. But I don't like this push off here. Now, I'm not saying that's a foul on him, but now we need to be aware as to who's pushing who, right? Now, to my same point 2 plays ago, is this a clean the game up or it's going to get out of control, or can we possibly pass on that and the official right here say, hey guys, knock it off? Because they're both kind of going at it. Do we not agree? Ball's up here. It's got nothing to do with the play down here.
I'm good with that call being made. It's early in the second quarter there. I'm okay with that.
It's the right call by the book. Philosophically, what do you guys think? Yeah, good? No, pass?
I think it's the right call, but something should have been said to the white shirt player. Keep your elbows down.
If I'm that official, I'm saying something. He may not even hear me, but I'm going to at least try to address and I'm going to address both of them. Guys, knock it off. That's really all you got to do.
I agree.
Right? Because he's got an illegal screen, totally foul against him. But he's not Mr. Choir Boy either. He's pushing his way through. He wants to make sure this guy knows I'm not going to put up with you getting in my way.
And you got the coach right behind him too, sitting right there. You can tell the white coach.
Yeah, or you don't even have to tell the white coach. The coach will hear you talking to both of the players. That's why don't single anyone out, because then the coach will say, well, what about him? He did this, right? Talking to both of you guys, knock it off.
They especially hear you now with empty gyms.
Yeah. All right, now here's
Definitely in this situation, I would I would definitely acknowledge both players, just say, hey, knocked it off. That way, so the coach can hear it and they don't complain about the other people either.
But I will say this, and I know I'm bringing up, should we pass? Should we pass? If the screen is obvious enough, I think more to Ken's point, I think it was Ken who said, I'm probably going to call it more often than I'm going to pass on it. Because when you start passing on that stuff, then the next one gets a little worse and the next one gets a little worse, right?
Give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
That doesn't mean I'm going to call them all. Sometimes I pass on it deliberately because I really think it had nothing to do with anything. But it just, that's where we have to judge, was the severity enough to get? Now let's look at this one. When I was talking about what the definition of a screen, right? Preventing them from getting to their spot. No whistle on the play. It happened right, it comes down, but it happens right there. The screener continues to move to get in his way. He causes contact. He even touches the player, right? He doesn't stop moving. He causes contact. But did he actually prevent the player from getting to the desired position?
No.
I don't
slow him down.
I don't even think he was trying to screen. I think he was trying to get to a spot. He was trying to run a play, it looks like.
I don't know. I think he's trying
he's
to
looking
screen.
right at him.
You think he's trying to do the football rub play or something?
That's a pick play all day.
Yeah, it's the old rub.
And yes,
there are some kids that will shoot right here. And so you got to watch what happens with the ball here. Because
he does gain an
now,
advantage. He's got a free 3-pointer if he wants it right
well, that's a good point, Mike. That's a really good point. If he stops, pulls up, and shoots the ball, first of all, he's pretty far away. His coach should ream him out for that. But if he shoots, this is totally an illegal screen.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's not stationary. He caused contact. He's delaying him from keeping him from getting to his position. But since the ball continued this way, and the player, for the most part, continued with relative ease, I think that's a good no call.
But see, if you compare that to the other screens, he kept going. I mean, you could make it. I mean, he got in his way for sure. But he's, it looks like he's kind of continuing to run a play. But yeah, he's in his way.
He's trying to set a screen, and he didn't do a good job, and he just continued down to his position.
Yes, it's the football rub. Sell it.
That's kind of what I think. What was it? Paul from Wisconsin was talking about with that quick roll, where the contact is sort of transient.
Yeah.
And he immediately goes to continue another action.
Yeah.
So it is difficult. You've really got to see the entire action.
But they could be taught that to your point. He could be kind of it's a schemey type. Hey, I'm just trying to get to a spot, but.
Well, yeah, I watch practices for my high school basketball team where I teach, and they definitely teach that. That is actively taught. Yeah. Especially on the fast break situations where they're all trying to get down there, they're trying to push. They're setting screens en route.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this too, and this is why screens is not an easy look. 2 feet on the ground, and facing his opponent. That's easy. That's why I think block charges are easier, because there's not as much, well, he was moving, but the contact, and did he delay him? And, did he shoot? Did he keep going? All of that comes into play. And I don't know if someone mentioned this or not. I thought I heard, if that kid's kind of been a sneaky player all game, I might be more prone to call an illegal screen on something like that, because he's been trying to get away with it all game.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, I got another one that's similar to this.
Oh, they missed that one. That was down by the lead.
The end line.
He was supposed to switch too.
Watch that player.
Under the basket, right?
Now this kid's in the way. Come on, sit down. But what really happens?
Okay.
Did he really affect his movement to where he's trying to go?
He threw an elbow out.
You're looking at 15, right?
Yeah,
No, not that one. Because
Oh.
the official called this one right here. And his elbow was out a little bit, but my point is, he pretty much got through with ease. He kept up with the player,
He
right?
called on 23 down there, the big dude. Is that who he called it on?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
the guy with the knee brace.
this guy.
Well,
Right
I
elbow
bet-
came out.
Josh, I bet he called that because he let the first illegal screen
Yep.
go. The guy didn't get the ball in the second one. All right, that's it. We're gonna stop this.
That might very well be. He missed the first one. He went,
One
oh,
pass,
darn,
one pass on it.
right? And he missed this one here, which I don't know if that's illegal either, but it's a lot more illegal than the one he called.
Right.
And he said, well, I'm going to get that one. Now, this kid up here, what's he doing with the ball? Nothing.
Mhm.
So all I'm saying is when it comes to illegal screens, we need to be more aware of what is happening in the play as well. It's not just he screened him and he delayed him a little bit. And did he get through okay? Even if there's a little contact, and did it have anything to do with the play? Now, again, as we had mentioned before, sometimes, yeah, we got to get it anyway because we're setting the tone, or the kids are sneaky all game, or whatever it may be. But it takes a little more of our judgment than, say, a block charge, Clay.
Mhm.
Oh, Weston Evanston. Ooh, this
This is
is
2 years ago. Did you see the play?
Mhm.
Did he really affect anything?
He got through. He didn't trip or anything.
He
didn't-
did bump him. He did maybe slow him down slightly, but it didn't affect the play at all, did it?
Did that lead come get that way from down there?
No,
Oh,
C
that's
did.
nothing.
But it was
Oh,
hardly
C
any
got it?
contact.
Okay, C got it. I'm sorry. Okay, I saw lead going. Okay. All right.
He's still on him easily, defending him easily.
Yeah.
Now, again, by the book, it's illegal. Absolutely. By the book. But I don't know, especially in a championship game, I'd like to say I would pass. Maybe I wouldn't.
Oh, that was. I wonder who got that.
It's slight, right? It's totally
Yeah.
slight.
Hairline.
There's another one, same game. No whistle. No whistle. Did you see what happened? We got a back screen right here. No whistle on the play.
No.
That would have to be the lead to get that though, because the
Not a screen. Oh, come on. That's nothing.
That is illegal
Really? Why?
because if you set a screen, you need to stop short of contact.
I think he did.
Oh, he bumped
I
him.
also agree. I think he was short of contact.
He bumped him.
Yeah, because
Oh,
the guy backed up into him.
Okay, so let's take it to the
So,
next step.
so he
now.
might have been short of contact, but it's a blind screen, and then you have to give an extra step for that.
Look at where his
It's just-
look
it's
at where
just-
his leg is too. His leg is way outside his shoulders, and that's
I
where the
was just
contact
saying,
was.
I
the
don't think
guy
contact was
down
play.
there, the guy down there being screened 32, he cannot see that player at all. He's completely blind, doesn't even know he's behind him until the bump happens. That's where I'm looking at.
When screening a stationary opponent from behind, parenthesis outside the visual field, the screener shall allow the opponent one normal step backward without contact.
Yeah.
Did he allow him one normal step without contact?
No,
No.
And I think you're right, Mike. I don't think he did bump him. He did stop short of contact. I think you're right.
But he didn't allow him to step.
But because he was moving backwards to stay with this player. Now,
Look at his leg. Look how far his legs are spread apart.
Yeah,
Those
the
aren't
spread
the worst
leg only
TV
matters
legs
if you
I've
trip
ever
over
seen.
that spread leg. He
Yeah,
made the contact with the torso, so that's not really.
Well, he
applicable
did
in
trip
this
over
case.
his. He did trip over
but
his
the
foot.
contact was here in the torso, which was legal.
But he did step on his foot.
Yeah, he stepped on his foot. Okay.
We didn't allow him to step.
If he steps on his foot, I'm probably passing on a footstep, unless he falls down, maybe. That doesn't make it less illegal, but I'm going to probably pass on that. I don't think he hit much of the leg. I think it was more of the foot, but he didn't allow him a step back. Now, we could say, yeah, but Josh, it didn't really have much to do with the play, right? And they stole the ball, but it did, because what if he was going to pass here to this guy? He totally just lost whatever advantage he had staying with this player because he bumped him. And we can't wait 3 seconds to see if he's going to pass to him. This player's clearly looking for someone to pass to. He's clearly cutting for something, and he just screened his man illegally. I think this is a must get. We've got to get this screen. And in my opinion, it's one of my pet peeves, are these back screens. Guys don't call back screens. And you're seeing more and more where they're even coming up and they're bumping them out of their position. You guys agree or disagree?
But he didn't give him a step. He's got to give him a step.
So same game as the one before. We call kind of the marginal here, but we passed on this one here. He's watching the ball. There's no way the trail is going to get that call, correct?
Right. Correct.
He might see it out of his peripheral, but there's no way he knows what happened. He's watching the ball, as he should be. The lead.
He's looking at that.
This is the lead all day.
He's lead all day. He's right there.
Even the center can't get that. One, he's too far away, and two, he's got two matchups here that he's got to be watching. Yeah, he's looking through, but there's no way he's going to get that. That's got to come from the lead. Here's the same game again, same game, another screen clip. Do you think one of these teams likes to screen? No whistle on the play. Happens right here again. No whistle on the play. Are you passing on that, or are you calling something?
No, I don't know.
Well, you have to call defense. You have to call something.
The screen is legal. Do we agree that the screen is legal?
I think the screen is pretty good.
I think so.
Yeah.
He gave him a step and a half. He's not moving that fast. I think the screen is legal.
You got to call
He gave him the stride and he pushed through.
Yeah.
He caused contact inadvertently, I think. Realized he couldn't get through, but then I think he gives a little shove with his arms. In my opinion, it's that last action with his arms that I'm going to call as a foul. I get it, you ran into him. I get it, you even displaced him. You're supposed to avoid contact, but contact happens. I get it. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you can give a little, even in just a little one, hey, get out of my way. Now, I'm also saying that where it's very easy to say, I would get that, right? But then when you're in the game and you get the flow and you're kind of like, well, you know, we could be, maybe they called 3 screens in a row, which doesn't mean you shouldn't call it, but you want to get that flow back and okay, I can maybe pass on that one. I don't know.
2, they're only shooting 39%, which is actually a bit odd. They're shooting good.
All right, now, Ken, I think it was you, Ken. No, maybe it was Shelby, but someone who said, remember this last one we had where we passed on it and he kept moving and he got through and he said, but if he stopped here and shot, I don't remember who said that. This is what happens in this clip.
2, they're only shooting 39%, which is actually.
Did we see it right here?
Yes.
He passes the ball for a 3-pointer, and what does he do?
Oh, wow.
Moving screen, definite moving screen.
That is
a moving
screen.
Absolutely moving screen.
We've got to get that.
Hey, I have a question. Who missed that call? Because the trail.
All right, so we've got the center over here, right, in the lead and the trail. And the ball is
the trails
right here. Who's watching the ball? Whose is that?
He's got a lot going on. He's looking at the 3-pointer.
That's the trail, right? The trail is all of this up to here, right? And then you got down the 3-point line. So the trail's on the ball. Trail's watching the ball. The ball gets passed to where? Whose primary coverage area is that?
Yeah.
It's still the trail. So who's watching the ball?
Trail.
The trail is.
The trail can still kind of see residually, but his main focus is here. So
Here,
who
yeah.
really needs to come in and help pick that up?
Lead, probably.
I think the trail should be able to get this too, because the trail watched him pass it. It's still in his visual field, I think. So the trail can get that, but the lead can come and get that too. Yes?
Lead wasn't in a great
Yeah.
position. He probably should have been.
Lead wasn't even looking.
And I don't know what he was looking at. Maybe there was a problem earlier, say, with these two, and he's kind of keying in. I've done that before where I start watching a player because he did something, a play back, and then I miss everything in front of me because I'm not paying attention to my area. Doesn't make it right, but could be the reason why. I think primarily, though, I think the trail probably should have got that.
Gotta get ball.
Because even though it's not the trail's area, he's looking through. He should have seen all that.
But if you look where the trail is, he should have stepped over a couple feet to get a good look, because right now he's looking right at the back of the shooter.
Right.
So
Right.
can he see if he actually makes, if there's any contact on the shooter, and he might not have even seen that the guy slid through and pretty much stopped the defender from getting to the shooter.
To be fair, that's easier said than done when the play moves so fast, right? He's looking in, he's looking in, he's coming over. Oh, I got to come over. Oh, the ball went up, so I'm just going to stay here and signal.
I understand.
So I agree. He maybe should have come down or come over a little, but it happened so fast.
Gotta get that though.
But that's
Hey, Josh, do you think
gotta
that's
get that.
was that shot off before that illegal screen?
I was thinking the same thing. Team control? Question mark.
So what do you mean? What are you getting at?
If the ball's away, it's not a team control foul because neither team's in control.
But it's definitely occurring while he's shooting. You can see, and he's creating an advantage for his teammate there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a team control foul, but it's still a screening foul.
Yeah, it's a screen.
You would still have to put it as a team control foul
It's
because
team control,
of the
yeah.
intent. That's the intent.
Control.
Enable the shot is team control. I don't care whether
Team
the ball's
control.
out.
Yeah.
By rule, if we're going to be technical, let's do it right now. It's not a team control foul if it happens after it's gone, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
By rule.
3 balls, no possession.
So you could say, Coach, that's not a team control foul. We're going to shoot free throws if it's 1-1. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you say no free throws because it is team control. What if the ball goes in?
You'd have to count the bucket. You have to count the bucket, and then you still call a foul.
Hold on. I just follow my voice here. Ready? Okay, boom. Illegal screen happened right now. Okay?
Yep.
Ball in his hands, and now it's off. You counting the bucket or are you waving it off if it goes
Waving
in?
it off. Waving it off.
Waving it off.
I'm waving it off.
That's continuation, though. He started these active shooting. He's starting.
Started it.
Continuous motion applies to foul by the defense.
This is an offensive foul.
It's an offensive foul. You wipe it off.
You're totally right because
Yeah.
the continuous motion is for a defender. Absolutely. Who said that?
Joe Fields.
That's a good get. I'm glad you said that. Yes, you
Thank
are
you.
absolutely correct.
Right.
All right. Let me show one more. All right. Now, there was no whistle on the play. Was that an illegal screen or were you passing on there?
Yes.
I don't
think
think it
the one
passed.
like I was saying about the rolling.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
he kind of slides off him and rolls, then
The
opens up. to the
contact is
ball.
right to his center mass, though.
I think he's pretty legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that. He's moving away from it.
And even if it was slightly illegal, the dribbler went right to another defender anyway. Right? So there was absolutely no advantage. I know that's not how the rule is written, but
Clearly illegal.
I think that screen's pretty legal.
Actually, 10 should have tried to hold 5 up a little.
Well, 10 was kind of a sneaky player in this game. I want to do one more. I put this on Facebook.
But home one plus more.
This has nothing to do with screens, all right?
It look like they already. Oh,
Look what we got here.
But home one plus more is the last team standing in terms of an undefeated record. Home one.
Do we see anything illegal here?
The numbers on the
Women.
jersey.
Okay, the numbers on the jersey are not illegal yet, but they will be by 2025. What's wrong with the numbers by in 2025? Why would they be illegal?
the same color as the jersey, right?
Same color as the jersey.
Same color as the jersey.
The number cannot be the same color as the jersey anymore. So, but they have a couple years to change that. What else? Anything else you see illegal?
Yeah, the leg bands. One's orange and one's black.
I mean, the armbands.
Right here?
Leg.
Leg. Look at the
Leg.
leg.
No, but that's a, he's got a,
That's
that's a,
legal.
That
That's a
is a
medical.
leg sleeve. That's a
That's
leg
a-
sleeve.
that's legal. That's legal.
That is not legal.
Gotta be black. It's
Even
gotta
if-
be
White, black, beige are the color of the uniform. Orange is none of those.
Even if no one else is wearing anything, that's still illegal. Black, white, beige, or the predominant color of the jersey.
Oh, it's a sleeve. It's not, I thought it was like a medical band or something.
They got rid of that whole medical thing like 3 or 4 years ago. It's just to get back to these colors now. Unless it's a brace, which it can be the manufacturer's color, and that's clearly not a brace.
That's right. They only allow a brace to have whatever color it wants to be. Nothing, but not other equipment. Because if they're playing, maybe in this game it's not a big deal. Although the opposing team is black. If they were red, maybe someone might see that. I know it's slight, and I know it's probably not. And I know we all hate these rules, but that's illegal. To be fair, if it causes confusion, you're playing a team with a reddish hue, and maybe you're running down and you're just looking out of the corner of your eye and you see this. Maybe you think it's your teammate, or maybe more of an arm sleeve type deal. But I don't know. But what about this? You see on this guy's wrist,
It's white.
but this is black.
Thumbs up.
So is that legal or illegal?
It's illegal.
Now, what if it's athletic tape?
Then it's legal.
Legal. There's no color restriction on athletic tape. I don't know what that is. I can't tell on this video. If it's a sweatband, illegal. Or take yours off or take yours off. You can't both have it, right? Because it does fall under the illegal color, but you can't have both colors on the same people. And he's got an arm black sleeve, so he's probably got to take his off, unless it's tape.
Right.
And how many times, I don't know if it's happened to you, I'll go up to a kid, he's got a blue arm sleeve on, right? And they're wearing a white jersey. And you say, that's illegal. And you even tell the coach, that's illegal. Well, it's, but my doctor says it's a medical thing. I have a note that says I have to wear it. And I say, well, I'm sorry, the rules do not allow for a medical arm sleeve a different color. So I'm not saying you need to take it off to play, or you have to take it off. If you need it to play, then that's on you, but I can't allow you to play if you're wearing it. And guess what? I've yet to have a player not play. He takes it off. What does that tell you? They know the medical, it's medical, it's medical. Too many guys now are saying, okay, if it's medical. No, it's not. That has nothing to do with it. Hold your ground.
I was at a middle school girls game where one of the players had an arm cast from here all the way down
cast?
to her fingers. Like she could still mobilize her fingers, but it was all the way over her hand. And I was just there for the next game.
A plaster cast?
Yes. And she played the entire game. And she was preparing to play in the following game because I was going to ref the varsity game. She was in the JV game for 2 quarters. And I think she played more than that because I got there at halftime. So she was their point guard.
Wow. Let me ask you this. I saw this on Facebook, not quite like this, but I'm gonna flip it to this scenario. You're working the varsity game, you show up, you see the sophomores playing, and there's a kid playing with a hard cast. Do you interject? Do you let it go? What do you do? Where does your responsibility start and end?
When you arrive.
Well, but you're not in charge of that game, right? You're in charge of the next game.
Certainly say something to the referees on a timeout or something. Just point it out and be like, we're here to evaluate you. That's on you if you let that go.
When the head coach tried to put her in the game in the second game, I let him know that's not allowed. So he can take that how he wants. And then in the locker room between games, because we go to the same locker room with the JV guys, get showered up and everything, and they're getting ready to leave. We went in and we told them about it, and they were newer officials. They were just unaware. They thought it was medical, like you said. So that's why I brought it up.
That's what I would suggest is I show up, I see a kid out there playing with a cast, game that I'm not in charge of. I'm not going to go out and stop the game, but I am going to go to the officials when I can and say, you know, that cast is illegal. I'm not talking if they're playing with a red arm sleeve, fine. That's on you. But a cast can hurt somebody. I feel like I should at least tell those officials that cast is illegal. Someone can get hurt. You might want to address it. Right. And if they can let them continue that, you can't make them pull her out. But to Mike's point, I think it was Mike, maybe they just don't know. So you can give your advice, but don't go onto the court. Don't do anything to overstep your responsibility. In fact, this Facebook post was talking about dunking. The varsity team, they're there to watch the sophomores. It's halftime of the sophomore game, and the varsity team, they come out, you know, they shoot around at halftime because they're dunking the ball. I think some guy said they gave a technical foul because it was the varsity player of his game that was coming up. Don't do that.
He gave the technical foul in the varsity game?
I think he said he did. Maybe he was just posing the question, but that is not, they said yes, but they're dunking a dead ball prior to the game. Well, okay, maybe technically by the rule, but their game doesn't actually start until the
game hasn't started yet.
Time, right?
Yeah, you're not even within the 15 minutes. Yeah.
Josh, I got a funny one that happened this week. So I see this kid has a medal on, you know, a chain on, and I look and it's like a cross. And I made the mistake of saying, is that a religious, you know, cross? And he said, yeah, it's a religious thing. I go, is it? And he goes, yeah. I go, okay, well, if it's not, I know God's going to punish you. He got all guilty and he took it off. So I said to myself, well, I won't ever ask that. I'm just going to tell him, hey, that's illegal, and let him tell me that it's a medical reason that he has to wear that.
They are allowed, right, to wear jewelry if it is considered part of their religious belief. Yeah. But what does it have to do?
They got to hide it and pin it and tape it underneath.
Tape it down, yeah.
You can't see it. It's got to be taped to the skin. It's got to be under the clothing. If you can see it, I don't care if it's part of your religious belief. Right. You can't play. If I can see it, you can't play. I'm not saying to take it off. I never tell a player to take anything off. Oh, you can't. You got to take that earring out if you want to play. No. You can't play if you're wearing that earring. I'm not telling you to take it out. But if you wear it, you can't play. Because it's a small thing and it may never happen. But if someone gets infected because they took an earring out because you told them they had to take it out, and now they want to sue you because you told them they had to take it out, just eliminate that. Don't even put yourself in that position. That'll probably never happen, but you know what? It may. I hope this was helpful. Screens are not my favorite thing to talk about. They're, like I said, they're a lot harder to judge, but important nonetheless, obviously. All right, well, everyone have a good week. I'm going to post this online in the next couple of days. You'll get the notice. I got a couple more. If you're not a YouTube subscriber, I don't know why not. Get out there. Subscribe to that.
What's your next date, Josh, for the next month? Do you know?
February 18.
Okay.
It's a Thursday again. The topic is hand checks. Everybody's favorite call. Hand checks.
Yeah.
I got lots of videos on hand checks, believe it or not, and lots where we call them and lots where we don't. So, unfortunately, what was it, 5 years ago when they came out and really hit us hard saying you need to call check? I think it's laxed. It's starting to slip. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's starting to slip. And honestly, I think the hand check is one of the tools we have to really keep a game in check. It really helps with keeping the flow of the players moving.
See what you did there with the hand check, keep it in check.
And my next rule review, which will be coming out, is going to be on hand checks. Check it out. All right, anything else? I'm going to stop this
See y'all.
meeting unless anyone has anything pressing. Last chance. All right. Later, guys.